Okay? So, go ahead, Ryan.
All right, like Sue said, I'm Ryan Rudnitz, and I teach at Menominee High School. I'm one of our Google trainers, and so when we do our PD sessions, I'll typically do trainings on Drive, Chrome, Chromebooks, and apps and extensions for Chrome, meaning ways that you can sort of like customize that search engine. And I've been doing those for a few years, and as Sue said, I've also presented around the state doing tutorials on extensions and add-ons and Chrome, Google Drive Classroom, which we're not going to talk about at all today. The truth is that there is so much to Drive and Chromebooks that I have too much information to share today. So we're going to kind of highlight a few things, hit the big ideas, and as you'll see from this is a shortened URL that I made using a Chrome extension, which I'll talk about in a minute. If you go to this, what you'll see is a document that I created, and when you go to it, you'll notice that I have shared it with you and given you editing privileges without ever actually sending it to you and sharing it with you. So there's lots of different ways in Chrome and in Google Drive to share things. And what I'd like you to do while I'm talking today and you're asking questions is to maybe jot some things down here, and we'll spend the last 10 minutes just answering any questions that maybe I haven't touched on, need to know things you'd really like to hear about. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see that there's links to the two presentations, and I know that Sue shared those with you already, but if you wanted to open them up today so that you have them as I kind of go through them, you certainly could. And I also have on there, if you wanted to contact me later, just my email address at the bottom. We're going to start with this one right here, which is Google Chrome and Chromebooks. And as I said, I have way too much information, and so this is going to be super informal. Interrupt me, ask questions if you'd like, and there's no possible way I could share the information from every slide. But Sue and I really wanted you to have these so that you can look at them on your own time or come back to them if you have a question about Chrome or Chromebooks. I thought I'd start with this one, like why Chrome? How many of you were using Chrome before they gave you a Chromebook? Quite a few actually, about half. So the big push in our district, this is my school district issued laptop, so it's Mac. The big push in our district before we even got Chromebooks was for everyone to switch to Chrome. So for a couple of years, we just did trainings on like kind of forcing people to give up Firefox and Safari and Yahoo, like cut it out of their lives. And that way they could experiment with Chrome before they were using a Chrome device, the Chromebook, which only runs, obviously, the Chrome search engine. So that was kind of our big push. And of course, as you guys know, Chrome is just another search engine. It's just that it was created by Google, and their claim to fame is basically that it runs faster, that it's simpler to use, and that it has a higher level of security. I can't really attest to any of those things. But that is what we were selling to our district when we were trying to get them to dip their toes into the Google and Chrome world. Sue probably remembers this.
Yes.
Yes. This is way before we even started using Google Drive or anything. We kind of started little and just wanted people to never open Firefox again. And some people still resist. So.
In fact, they even made it like super hard to even get to Firefox.
Yeah, we like removed it from computers and you had to go find it in the applications and download it. People did though. The nice thing about Chrome that I would say, and I would really encourage you to switch to using it on all devices, is that once you customize it, it won't matter if you log into the Chromebook you've just been issued or your school issued laptop or your home device, everything you customize will always be there. And I'll show you just quickly. This is my Chrome here, and I have it highly customized, and I'm going to show you like a few tips for doing this today. This is a customized tab. When you guys open a new tab, you probably get like the Google search box and maybe like your latest search history. I didn't want that, and so I went ahead and I customized my tabs so that I can see all of the apps, applications that I've added. Up here I have a list of extensions, which are all of these add-ons that I can run, that I'll tell you how to add those. And so the nice thing is it doesn't matter what device I log into. As soon as I sign in, all of this stuff populates itself on any device in our whole district or at home.
Does
So
anybody have their Chrome customized?
Apparently, my customized the Bing when I open up a new tab.
okay,
I don't know how that works, but
Okay.
you must have clicked. Okay, we must have clicked like, okay, yes, I want to import all of that when you
No.
switched over.
Bing.
Okay, so that's the key, and that's one of the things I'm gonna show you today, is a little bit, if you wanna spend some time playing around and customizing Chrome, you could. One of the things Chrome also talks about, and now every search engine has stolen these ideas, is that you have an omnibox, and the omnibox is at the top where you type in the web address, and you no longer need www, you can just start the web address and it links it for you, and then of course you can have as many tabs. High school students love this, they like to have 100 tabs open at all times.
Because they don't think you know as a teacher.
Exactly.
That they're looking at a new picture or purchase or the tires. or
That's
whatever.
exactly right, or they're playing like that new Agario game, do you guys
Yeah.
know what that is?
Yeah.
Oh my god, bubbles eat bubbles, it's the dumbest thing you've ever seen, but high school kids love it. This is not really unique to Chrome anymore, but they are the ones that pioneered it, this idea that your omnibox, which is this right here, is where you type web addresses, but also search things. So of course I could put a web address or I could just put cats up there, okay? And so that's, again, that's not really new anymore, but Chrome and Google are the ones that sort of created that idea. And then the simplicity of sort of having all your tabs open. A couple things that I want to show you guys today, and ask questions. Sue will kind of jump in if she has some thoughts. I want to show you how to set your home page. I want to kind of talk about what apps and extensions are, and then we'll switch over to talking a little bit about Drive specifically. And like I said, this is too much information, and so that's why these presentations are shared with you, so you can come back to them later. One thing that really panicked a lot of our staff was that their favorite page, maybe it was like our attendance taking page, or it was, you know, checking your finance, like your sub page, requesting a sub, was going to sort of be missing. They couldn't just get to it right away. But there are a couple ways to do that, and one of them is setting your home page. I would suggest everyone do this. It's a nice, simple little feature that Chrome has for you. Right up here, I'm going to point to it here, but you'll see it in the top right of your screen. This little stack of lines, Google calls it their pancake. So if you're ever at another Google training and they go to your pancake, that's what they're talking about. Right up here, you'll drop down and you'll see that you have all sorts of options for customizing Chrome. And one of them is your settings. If you go into your settings, you'll see that you have this option. It's a little small up here, but where you can change your appearance. So you could even like play around with things. I'll show you mine quick. So it's right here. This is my drop down, my pancakes. And you go to settings. And in settings, one of the first things that you'll have is appearance. And what I have done for mine, you can click show your home button. So you'll see right up by the refresh circle is a little home, and that's what they're referring to. And I have set mine, I copied over a URL that takes me directly to our attendance taking website. So I don't have to like type that in or click it in all the time. So anytime I click on that, it just brings me right to that page. So, right, so I know, right, you don't like it, Sue doesn't like to see this. But as future teachers, there are just going to be those go-to pages that you're going to want to be familiar with and to have kind of customized. The home button can be anything. Again, you just go into your settings and under appearance there, show your home button and put in anything.
And see, I think for all of you, that would be a neat thing to have, because you are gonna have to take attendance electronically. And I don't know if student teachers get access to that or not, but to know you have that, and so as students are coming in, you can just see, blah, 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 or charties, whatever, it's there, and then boom, you're right back to where you need to be, okay?
And on any device.
Yep.
So I can do this from Chromebook, from my laptop.
Yeah, I had a friend, well, Kayla, she
Yeah.
had this on her phone, so
Yep.
that as she was teaching, all right, or the kids were working on projects, she just pulled up her attendance and very quickly, boom, 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 and sent it, never used her laptop.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brett?
Yeah.
Do you have to do attendance online, like electronically?
Every district in Wisconsin has mandatory online attendance, and they have two different systems, Skyward or, I'm not gonna remember the name of the other one, because we're a Skyward district.
Yeah.
I'm
But-
just asking for a friend.
Yeah, for friends, nice. Well, your friend, you should tell them yes,
Doesn't like
unfortunately.
technology.
Oh, yeah. It's, and the thing is that it's so crazy now because like it links to truancy court and it
Yes.
goes to the state and so,
Yeah.
yes.
Because remember, if a student is absent part or all of a day, it counts as a day absent. If you are absent part or all of a day, 10 days in a row, you are referred to truancy court. And so now, that's why administrators may really get on your case if you're not doing it, because they need to know. And if the student hasn't been there periods 1, 2, 3, 4, you have them 5th hour and it shows up they were, and then 6, 7, it's like, well, was so-and-so in your class? And I don't know about you, but if it's been a crazy day and you're trying to go back in your mind, oh gosh, I think they were there,
Right.
but they weren't, and yeah, they're gonna wonder, why did they just show up for your class? Well, we all know why, because you're gonna be awesome teachers, but, that's a big deal. Attendance is a big deal.
And for me, the way that I use Chrome, I'm a terrible attendance taker, and so I customize it to make the things that I am least apt to do accessible and really easy. That is one thing, I don't get paid by Chrome to say that, it's one thing I like about it. I can customize it to make everything I do in my classroom so much quicker. As an example, I'll show you guys, I use the home button a lot. I'm gonna talk about apps and extensions next. And there are videos in the presentation I linked for you that you can watch on your own that explain it a little more in depth. Not only can you set a home button, which I have and I use all the time, but you also can add on apps. Chrome has what they call a web store. It's like the app store with your iPhone or the Android, store. You can add on apps, which are just applications that you can link to or run. So you can see I have a variety of them here. You can also add on what they call extensions, and these appear on any new tab that you open. And I love extensions, so I have a lot of them. I have one here that's called Clearly, which if I go to a news site and I click on it, it removes all the advertisements and extra images and just has the words and the titles, which is really nice.
So
And
that's an app that they have?
it's an extension that they have, yeah. And I have it listed in my presentation as a good suggested one. I have something called Too Long Didn't Read, so TLDR, which I don't use for myself so much as I do sometimes for students as an accommodation. Where again, if we're reading a lengthy piece of text, this will summarize it into 3 or 4 paragraphs for them of like the most important content. This is how I made that tiny URL that you guys used today. I customized it for you. So when you came in, I asked you to type in this URL, and I used this add-on called Bitly to create it. And I use that all the time, like if I'm emailing someone a web address or doing something like that, what you do is, I added this extension, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. You just click on Bitly, and it'll either you can create a custom one where you can type the name in, and then you just copy it and you paste it wherever you want. So this way you don't get like the, 10 lines long URL that people like to give you sometimes. This is one I use every day. This is called Tab Cloud. And what it does, like you have all these tabs open, which is awesome, like you can do that. But sometimes your day is done and you are just ready to get home. But you've done all this work on researching or lesson plan creating or planning for the week, and you don't really want to leave them all open and your computer turned on, but you also don't want to lose all your work. So what you can do with this is I could save all these tabs I currently have open, and I can even name them. It just gives it the date as a name, but I could name them like Scout Presentation, and then I can come back and open these up later. So there it goes, it's gonna open them all now. I use this one, and that's a cool one. That's one I like a lot. I use this one every single day, because when my students come in, I did something similar that I did with you guys today, and I have the daily plan listed. And so I have the 3 tabs saved, so I don't have to go hunt them down and drive individually every day, and I just click the plus, and they pop right up. And so then I can just go in and I can just modify, that's one of my favorite things. And that's the nice thing about Chrome. Again, doesn't matter what device I go to, you can add all these extensions and all these apps. So, in the presentation that I have for you guys, it talks about how to do that. But I'll just show you real quick. The video that I have here, if you want to come back to it later, explains apps and how to get them. But I also can tell you that the easiest way to do it, if you open up a new tab on your computer right now, mine's a little different than yours, so I'm going to look at Sue's too. Yeah.
Is your mind swimming?
I know, it's so much.
Mine is.
All right. So if you open up your computer, there's this other thing that, essentially that Google has created, and they call it their Chrome Web Store. And so my tabs look a little different than yours, but on any tab that you have, there's a couple things that you should see, and I'm trying to kind of see what it looks like for you guys too. You should see, so Google is so creative in their names. They have their pancake, and they also have their waffle, they call it. Okay, so if you click on your waffle right here, again, Google and their clever names. So you click on your waffle, and I'll click on Sue's too, so I can kind of see what you guys are seeing. You're going to see some other applications that are already there for you. And these are things that just by going to your waffle, you can really easily just kind of get or use, which is nice. You'll notice at the bottom it says more. And you can click down and see even more. It looks like you guys are kind of defaulted with like Google Docs is there, Google Hangouts, Blogger, and Finance. And then at the very, very bottom, you can click even more from Google.
Which I will let you know, there's a floor planner app that I'm gonna ask you to be looking at, because one of your assignments in here is to design a classroom.
Well, that's
Okay,
cool.
remember that's part of the management part, we looked at the theory, you're looking at your classroom rules, so now you're gonna have an opportunity to design your ideal classroom. And so there is an app called Floor Planner, and there's a section underneath Floor Planner that says schools. So, we're gonna be looking at that.
So, like you can see, there's almost, again, you could almost say there's too many options. There's so many things to choose from. When you're looking for more applications, there's just like a lightning storm of choices. The biggest criticism of Chrome and Chromebooks is that it can't run software programs that you're used to on other devices. If you open up a new tab and you type in Chrome Web Store, this is where I added all my crazy stuff and made my Chrome look so different. So you type in Chrome Web Store. And this is what you should see. So here is where you can literally like search everything. You want to find out if there's a calculator that you can use in Chrome, you can search for it. You want to find out if there's a free digital virtual dissection kind of application, you can search for it. They truly have everything. Like on any app store, some things are better than others. So when you search, and kids like to search for games, so much so that we blocked that at the school, but there's a lot to search for. And they kind of categorize it for you. And honestly, I would say one thing that I do sometimes, like I have this idea that I should just be able to do something on my computer, and so I search for it to see if I can find it. So one thing that I have added, I was really getting tired of all of the ads that run in my class before I show like a YouTube clip. And I thought there has to be a way to stop those, like the silly, insurance commercial ads or the Chase banking ad. And so I just did a little search, looking for an ad blocker, an ad stopper, and as it would turn out, there is one. So I typed in, and you can see I saw, there's all sorts of stuff. I had to dig around a little bit. I looked at some of them. If you go to it, you can kind of see they give you a little synopsis that you can look at. And I decided that this one right here, AdBlock Plus, suited my needs the best. And so I added it to Chrome, and if for you guys it would say add to Chrome or free, it tells you 90% of them are free. I added it, and the next time I opened up a new tab, it was just right up here. And now, anytime I have embedded a YouTube clip into one of my presentations, no ads play before. So things like that, there's just no way I could even possibly tell you all the ways in which you could add apps and extensions to customize Google Chrome, because too many of them exist. But it's a great thing to play with. And when you're really, really frustrated, either in your student teaching experience or even right now in class, with the lack of power a Chromebook has, I would say dig into that web store and just type things in. Like you're frustrated because it can't make brochures, type the word brochure into the search thing. You're gonna find this great program called Lucid Press. You know, you're frustrated because you can't find a scientific calculator, you need ideas for a lesson plan. They have so many. Some great, some not so great. I have listed here for you guys. Sue, can you think of any that you used? Any good ones?
No.
This was kind of new to us in the last
I
couple of
came in the
years.
tail end of all of this,
Yep.
all right? Remember I told you that I had coworkers that got Google certified and they did all those things and, yeah. I'm not gonna lie, you guys, my mind was tired, okay?
But you used it because we
Yeah.
were a Google school.
Yeah.
That's the thing too, some of you may find in your student teaching experience that your school is a Google Apps for Education school.
Yeah.
And if that is the case, then you'll just be expected to use all of this. Your default email is Gmail, you'll be expected to use Google Drive. And I was telling some of you, in Menominee, for example, we have taken away server space for students. So even if they're working on a device that is not a Chromebook, and we still have those in different areas, the work that they save has to be saved on that device, let's say in like a communications technology class, for example, or it has to be saved on a flash drive for later.
Or the iPads, I know when they were doing some
Yeah.
commercials or whatever, it was on that iPad.
Yes.
And so if you as another teacher checked out the iPad card, all of a sudden you had students coming down from
Right.
another class, I need iPad number 12, it's got my commercial on it, and you're like, okay, well, my class needs iPads, and, yeah, it was really, yeah.
Right. So
But
the
you
nice
just
thing
find
about
it,
Chrome and
yeah.
Chromebooks is that it's transferable, you know, from device to device. And for our students, you'll learn for high school students, middle school students, even elementary. My son's in first grade, and he was just learning about landforms, and so he had to do a Google slide presentation. And the best thing for him is it automatically saves, and it's just right there when it comes back to it.
Well, and I remember you guys, when we had that shared document, you were putting in all your stuff for those different theories, that was a comment somebody made. Oh my God, it
Yeah.
just saves it automatically. I said, yes.
Which is amazing, that's the best part.
Which for some of you, that's been a huge frustration with some of the other programs.
Eliminates excuses too.
Exactly.
This page is on the presentation where it talks about how to add apps and extensions. Like I say, some night when you're bored and you're playing around with your Chromebook, which is what college students do, I'm sure, on a Thursday night, I would just go to the Chrome web store and play around and try a few things out. The nice thing is if you add something and you're like, oh my goodness, why did I just add that? It doesn't work, I don't even know what it does. You just can click on it and just remove it. And so there's no danger, you could add 100 things and there's no danger in that. And then the same thing, you can just hover over apps and click and delete them. And 90% of them are free on the Chrome web store. So I would say that's kind of my best advice is just to play around with that a little bit. I also have in this presentation some of the suggestions of things that I use every day that you could search in the Chrome web store and play around with. Some of these, like YouTube, you obviously can get to by just opening up a new tab, but some of these things are just like quicker. So I've customized it a little bit to make the work I do in my classroom a little more efficient.
So do you, Ryan, pretty much do everything electronically to get ready for your classes now?
I do, I really do. So, and the best thing for me, I don't do formal lesson plans, but these for me are sort of my version of a formal lesson plan. so that my daily plans, as I'm thinking about the day ahead. I even have in here like the time of a class hour, because that changes with assembly schedules and late starts and all the rest. So even just to remind myself of how much time I have that
And
day.
see, she didn't really have class yesterday either.
Right.
So.
So this is, I have to update this and then update it for today. And the nice thing is, and we're gonna get to this now, we're gonna talk more about Drive and less about Chrome and Chromebooks, is you can insert links. So like for my class today, organized and created this, and this is the plan with everything I need, including links to activities we're going to be doing.
Now, what are you gonna say to her about this lesson plan, all of you?
Oh, yes.
Where are your objectives?
Oh, very good. That's a very good question. Actually, it's one of the only things I handwrite. I handwrite those on the whiteboard every day.
Yeah.
Because what I found is I project this for the kids, so they see this, it organizes me, it organizes them. What I found is that if I had the objective up there, it just got lost in it. So that is handwritten on the one thing I do still on my Chrome. And bookmarking is another simple and easy way to customize your Chrome and keep things for later. And so I have some screenshots there for you to look at, but I'll show you just up here for a moment. You can bookmark things by going to the pancakes drop down and bookmarking. I know, right? I feel silly saying it. You can bookmark things by simply clicking on the star right here. If I change the star to yellow, it brings up the bookmark menu, and I can change the wording of this to make it shorter or whatever I want, and I can decide where I want it to go. And then you also, whenever you're in Chrome, you have your bookmark menu up here you can drop down to. So you can see I have some other quick reference things that I have bookmarked. So for example, we switched to a new web page, and so I have that bookmarked for ease of access. When you graduate, you're going to have to do a whole different sort of portfolio thing to get relicensed using the Quality Educator Initiative. And so I have that bookmarked because I do some of those trainings in our district. And these are also easy to move and to delete by just control clicking. So, yeah.
Is that bar on the top like a math thing?
This one,
Yeah.
it's- that's a very good question. It is sometimes Chromebook specific also. So here's the frustrating thing that we have found in our district. We probably have a half a dozen different kinds of Chromebooks. And that's the reason I wanted to look at Sue's quick when I was telling you guys about the apps and extensions, is there is a subtle difference for every style of Chromebook of menus and things you see. So frustrating, but just important to keep in mind. So that's a very good question.
And
Well,
that's
yeah.
reality in your district,
Yes.
because as funds come in and there's a wave, like, not Andrew, Chris, no, Nick, you were saying, you know, Chippewa started freshman with this. I will bet the next freshman class, they were maybe just a little bit different. The next freshman class, they were just a little bit different.
Right.
And so that's where you as a teacher, you're flipping along,